Debt. It's a word with many connotations, but I could safely assume that it's one that many in the general public don't necessarily like very much. In a nutshell, maintaining a great deal of debt is hard. It's hard on us not just financially, but also physically, as well as mentally and emotionally. In my experiences in working with federal employees, I've seen that some of the most well-paid are not immune to falling into the debt trap. That's why in this episode, we're going to highlight 4 different ways in which you can finally escape the debt trap. Hi, I'm William Thompson, and I'm a financial planner with Valor Wealth Partners. In many of the meetings that I've had with federal employees, whether that be those in the early to middle of their career phase, or those in the phase in which they're idling down their career and nearing retirement, I've encountered some in which they've had all these goals and aspirations, such as contributing to a child's college education, retiring with a certain lifestyle or standard of living, or maybe for my earlier career feds, it was getting a start on their wealth building journey. However, we were hamstrung in making such plans because some of them were carrying such massive debt loads, some well into the 5 figures of credit card debt, and that had to be addressed first. So maybe that's you, or maybe you've already paid off a sizable chunk of debt only to find yourself right back in. So that begs the question, how exactly do we escape this debt trap? Now, the first thing that we have to do to escape this debt trap is to admit there's a problem. Now, that's going to require some vulnerability and honesty with yourself. How many times have we heard of someone who ignored symptoms of a health issue and then ultimately it progressed to a point where it can no longer be treated or cured? Debt is no different. I've seen massive debt loads delay or even prevent retirement altogether. Now, speaking to my earlier career federal employees, a 2019 creditcards.com survey came out in which 1 in 5 millennials were expecting to die in debt. This is sad, and it does not have to be you. And that's why that leads me into my next point, which is that we have to come up with a plan and a strategy to eliminate this debt. Now, there are many strategies out there for paying off debt, a lot of which you can find online or in books or even from many of the famous financial pundits out there. Now, one of the most well-known strategies is called the debt snowball method, which is touted by Dave Ramsey. And with the debt snowball method, that involves paying off the smallest balances first and then gradually working your way up to paying off the larger balances. Now, one could argue that paying off the smallest balances first would actually cost you more in the long term in interest. Now, I'm not here to say that one is necessarily better than the other. However, what I will say is that you need a strategy that aligns you financially as well as emotionally, but also keeps you disciplined and engaged. Now, for my federal employees, of course, you could consider a TSP loan for paying off large sums of debt. Now, think about it like this. With many of the credit cards that are out there, some of the rates are well over 20%. However, the TSP loan interest rate is equivalent to that of the current G-Fund rate. Now, I will caution you to beware of some of the pitfalls, such as if you happen to leave federal service before you've paid off that loan, that would get counted as a taxable distribution. So just keep that on your radar. Now, obviously, I'm going to be a little jaded with my next method for escaping this debt trap, but that's to hire a professional. Now, myself included, many of us can be naturally predisposed to taking on the attitude of, I'm just going to go it alone and I can get it done all by myself. But sometimes it just gets to be too much. And that's when you want to tag in a professional to come and help you. Now, certified financial planner professionals such as ourselves can certainly help, and we are equipped to do so. However, you may also consider the services of a well-credentialed and experienced financial coach. Whereas many financial planners tend to develop different strategies to help you to reach your financial goals, Financial coaches typically specialize in spending, budgeting, and debt management. You may also consider reaching out to a debt counseling service. However, I do want to caution you that it is best to do your research before doing so, as some may try to push you into debt consolidation loans. And that may or may not be the best solution for you, especially if you lack the discipline to responsibly use those credit cards. Now on to my final point on escaping this debt trap, and that's changed behavior. Getting out of debt is hard enough as it is, but for many, staying out is just as hard, if not harder. And so you have to be honest with yourself. If you know that you lack the discipline, perhaps using your credit cards for all of your purchases isn't the right move if you aren't going to pay off the balance immediately after. And so the mindset shift has to take place while you're on this journey. It's now to be an aggressive saver and wealth builder, as those dollars that were once held captive by all of those debt payments can now be deployed for building healthy cash reserves, as well as investing for retirement and other financial goals that you may have. So there you have it, everyone. 4 ways in which you can escape the debt trap. And hopefully once you have escaped, you never find yourself back in. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, as a reminder, everyone's pathway out of debt isn't necessarily the same. So we urge you to get unbiased, conflict-free advice, because we just want the best solutions for you as well as your family. So as always, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.